BV Coastal wines are great, fruit-forward, approachable wines. They're a true expression of each varietal, but they're not dummied down. We take great pains to make sure that we're making great wine, but we just do it at an affordable price. We're employing the same winemaking techniques and methods that a high-end boutique producer would use, but we're just doing it at a slightly larger scale.
We've consistently put higher quality grapes into the BV Coastal programs than any other brand out there.
BV Coastal Estates is a really important part of the overall Beaulieu Vineyards franchise. It's a powerhouse within the 7 to 10 price category, and this is a great chance for us with this tier of Beaulieu Vineyards to get out, get exposed to a lot of consumers who are looking for that everyday value price point.
BV Coastal Estates carries on the tradition that BV has had for over 110 years of making high quality wines, but offering them at a value price.
For the BV Coastal Estate programs, I source grapes from all over California, from Lodi to San Benito here to Paso Robles, and also Monterey County. There are absolutely incredible grapes grown here on the Central Coast. We can compete with any vineyards in the world.
There are some vineyards that we have in Lodi that I'd put up against Napa Valley any day. So take that, Napa.
Even though BV Coastal Estates is a large wine brand, we deal with so many different growers in so many different areas, it doesn't feel that way. Probably the most important aspect of my job is to build relationships with the growers. Their primary goal needs to be our primary goal, and that's to create the best quality fruit to make the best quality wine that we can possibly make.
We're in Ranch Sage. We're growing Cabernet Sauvignon. I started working in the vineyard fields back in '77.
Lupe, he actually lives here on the property, so he is completely involved and dedicated to these vineyards and making these vineyards produce the highest quality fruit he possibly can. In Piscinas, around the winery, are estate vineyards, and we take a lot of pride in these vineyards. South Hart, we actually have some 100-year-old head-trained Grenache that is just, it's unbelievable.
North Quaid is a great vineyard and where most of my Riesling comes from for BV Coastal. Sage is a nice hillside vineyard where we pull Chardonnay, Merlot, some Cab, and other red blenders from.
Malindi is 40 acres of Cabernet Sauvignon and 35 acres of Chardonnay. It makes some amazing pineapple flavored Chardonnay that you would never expect.
This little guy right here is a grape cluster. It just got done with flowering, and it's starting in fruit set. In 5 months, this Cabernet cluster will become a full cluster of grapes and will be ready to pick.
Once harvest rolls around, Jason and I spend day upon day driving throughout the state, looking at vineyards and tasting.
I call all the picks for every varietal within the BV Coastal line, and it's important that we do that, and it is somewhat unique for this size of a program. Most of our grapes are machine harvested. This is important because it allows us to let each of these vineyards hit its optimum ripeness and then come in and pick them right away. So every grape that comes off this vine we know is ripe. The winemaking facility for BV Coastal is tucked away in this little town called Piscinas in a narrow little valley in San Benito County. The winery has been here for years. It takes upwards of 12 to 18 months to put some of these blends together. And throughout that process, we are constantly tasting and retasting and blending and softening the edges of some of these wines to get them ready for the bottle. Microoxygenation is a method that we use in the BV Coastal wines. This is a technique that's employed in first growth Bordeaux's, and we use it here too. It's a great tool that we have so that we can offer these wines that are young and fresh but still have that complexity that a barrel-aged wine would have. We maintain the best winemaking standards that we can. We really focus on our blending and the finishing of the wine so that every bottle of wine that we offer is the best it can be. we're benchmarking our blends against other competitors. We like to taste everything that's in our price point, as well as taste one price point above. We want to make sure that our quality is just as good as the guys selling their wine for more than us.
The core team for BV Coastal Estates is obviously Jason Dodge, who's an incredible winemaker and has really put his heart and soul into making these wines the best that they possibly can be. But then also Jason Becker, who deals with all the winery operations. And so basically the three of us really work a lot together.
Yeah, it turns out that Jason Dodge actually taught Matt everything he knows about making wine.
Jason Dodge did what? Just as I taught you everything you know about the vineyards.
My background is in fermentation science at Oregon State, go Beavers. I started working at the small winery on campus and then worked at a small producer outside of Corvallis making some high-end Pinot Noir and Pinot Gris. What I bring to this experience is we try to employ the same techniques and methods that you would use in a small, high-end winery on a larger scale.
I actually have a background in winemaking and also in vineyard management. I absolutely just adore being out in the vineyard, but also being able to work so closely with the winemakers. I understand their language because I've been in those roles before.
I actually got my first job with Diageo right out of college. I went to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, studied wine and agribusiness as well, and was hired on as the assistant winemaker at this facility. It's a lot of work putting these wines together, and no one person can do it, and it's certainly a team effort. I make a total of 9 wines for BV Coastal Estates. We have a Sauvignon Blanc, a Pinot Grigio, we have a Riesling, and a Chardonnay. We also make a Pinot Noir, a Zinfandel, a Cabernet, a Merlot, and of course a red blend. Our reds are soft and approachable, and our whites are lifted and juicy. Without a doubt, my wife's favorite BV Coastal wine is the Sauvignon Blanc. So I am highly motivated to make that wine the best it can be. I think the thing I love most about my job is the creation process and the fact that I know that every year we make these great wines and they go out in the market and millions of people enjoy them. That makes me feel good.
As always, please enjoy our wines responsibly.